Hello everyone, I'm Arshia. Stories are a window to the world. They can shape the way we think and they can transform the way we act. They can take us to far, far away lands, to the past and to the future. They can make us laugh and they can make us cry and they can evoke the deepest of emotions in our heart, sitting there in front of the storyteller. That is the magic and the power of stories. So, if these stories have so much power over us adults, just think what kind of power the stories have on little kids. And it is this belief in the power and magic of stories that made me found my organization, the StoryBeetle, that spreads the magic dust of stories on everyone, be it kids or adults. We, as an organization, StoryBeetle, conduct storytelling sessions and blog writing and creative writing sessions personally, at a personal level, and also in schools. So, we have trained hundreds of kids and students to help them create value in their life, to help them hone their self confidence, creativity, imagination, and become better storytellers, become better communicators, uh, and improve their language skills. So, our session today is about how stories, storytelling, and story listening help in cognitive development of kids. So, to help you understand that, let me first tell you a story. The story that I have taken is from the book The Dot, and it is written by Peter H. Reynolds. The story is about a little girl whose name was Vashti. So, once upon a time, Vashti was sitting in her long over art class. She was glued to her desk, grumpy and unhappy. Her art teacher comes and she looks at the desk on the blank sheet of paper that is lying there. She had not drawn even a single line on that blank sheet of paper. So the art teacher looks at the paper and says, "Oh, polar bears in a snowstorm." This shakes Vashti. She looks at her and says, "Very funny. But, ma'am, I don't know how to draw." Her teacher smiles and she asks her to make a mark. Vashti grabs a marker and gives it a good big jab. She makes a dot. Then she gives it back to her teacher. Her teacher very carefully looks at it and then she tells her to sign it. Now Vashti thinks, "I cannot draw, but yes, I know how to sign." So she signs her name at the end of the paper. Next week, when Vashti comes to her art class again, she's surprised to see a painting hanging behind her teacher's desk. It is her dot, the dot that Vashti had drawn. She's amazed and very happy to see it. And the painting is framed in a golden swirly frame. Now, Vashti looks at it and thinks, "I can draw better dots than this." So that is the first day when she opens her never used watercolors and starts painting. And Vashti painted and painted. She made yellow dots, blue dots, red dots, purple dots, and all kinds of dots. And one day, she mixed blue color with yellow color, and she came to know that it makes the green color. So she made a green dot. And so she kept experimenting. Uh, so she was making these little dots, and she thought, maybe I can make big dots too. So she made a splash of color on a big piece of paper and painted a big dot. And one day she painted a dot without painting a dot. Now you think how she did that. When Vashti took these beautiful dots to her school to show to her art teacher, she was amazed to see what she had done. And the school is so impressed with it that in the next art show, they display a room full of Vashti's paintings. And it makes quite a splash. People are really bowled over by it. And then a little boy comes to Vashti and he looks up to her and says, "You're a great artist." So Vashti says, "So can you be?" And the boy says, "Oh, I can't be. I don't even know how to draw a single line." So Vashti smiles and she gives a blank piece of paper to the boy and tells him to make a mark. So this boy draws, tries to draw a straight line and gives it back to Vashti. And she tells him, "Now sign it." So that was the story, The Dot. So let's really see what the story did to us. What kind of impact the story had on us, to understand what kind of impact it will have on your child. So the first thing this story did to me and to you is involved us. It engaged us, and in a very positive manner. We are not glued to screens, though at this time you are, but generally when you're listening to a story one on one, you're not glued to a screen. It positively engages and involves you. It involves all your senses. You're listening. If it is a participatory tale, you are talking to each other. Uh, you are thinking. You're imagining. Yeah. So it is a complete involvement of a child's senses. Secondly, it helps in developing or honing the creativity of a child. Now, when I was telling you the story, I'm sure a lot of us thought about how Vashti looks. What was the kind of dot she made on that paper? How the teacher looked? Uh, what dots or what paintings she had made? What that little boy looked like? And it really made us think, made us imagine a lot of things. And this is what it is doing to a child when we tell him or her a story. So that's the second. Yeah. So the first was it is helping you engage the child. Secondly, it is helping you develop the creativity or imagination of the child. And what is the third? The third is it helps in developing critical thinking. Now, this story had a very strong message, if we all could understand. And that message was that the teacher did not, scold the child or tell the child, "You can't do anything." The teacher actually encouraged the child with a single mark. And if we are also able to do that with our children, we, we would really create a lot of value in their life. Now, this is what a child would also learn when a child is listening to a story. As I said, that stories shape the way we think, and stories can also transform the way we act. So just think about it. It helps in critical thinking. How? For example, you are in a similar situation at some point of time, or a child is in a similar situation at that point of time, and the child can recall the story that someone had told us, then the child will invariably act or react, in a similar way. The child knows what to do and how to do it. So stories are so powerful. So that is how it also helps in critical thinking. Then it helps in collaboration. So when we are doing storytelling workshops, when we are doing storytelling activities, it's like we are together. A group of students are sitting, the group of students are imagining, the group of students are listening, and there are a lot of participation that is happening. So it is also helping in a collaborative spirit. It is helping in building a a team spirit in your kid's mind. And also it helps in developing emotional intelligence, as I explained in the point that critical thinking. Um, it helps you understand how to react and what to react if you're telling the right stories to our children. So in that way, as we understand how powerful the stories are, there's one caveat there in the art of storytelling, in storytelling. So we also need to think, are we telling the right kind of stories to our kids? Because they have so much of impact. So we need also to be very careful what kind of stories I am telling my child. For example, there are a lot of fairy tales that tell about evil stepmothers, and there are some that tell about how a girl needs to be saved by by a prince. A princess needs always to be saved by a prince. Now, it is also help conditioning your child in a certain way. So it's important that what you are telling to your child, what kind of story you are telling to a child. Uh, and so that's one point. And another very, very important point is that storytelling helps in developing the communication skills of a child, the language skills of a child. When you're listening to the spoken word, you're learning. You know? So when I'm telling a story, I'm helping you learn. And when the child himself is telling the story, the child is developing their communication skills, the language skills, improving their spoken English, right? To summarize our session on how storytelling helps in cognitive development of a child, let me first give you 4 C's. So the 4 C's are: storytelling helps in developing creativity, C for creativity. Secondly, storytelling helps in critical thinking, C for critical thinking. Storytelling helps in developing communication skills of your child. Fourthly, it helps in collaboration, right? So it helps build the team spirit. Then storytelling helps in developing emotional intelligence. Now, as we know the benefits of storytelling, let's really involve and engage our kids in this activity and really help in their holistic development. Thank you so much, and hope this session helped you understand the significance, that strong power that stories have on our kids. Thank you.